Hi boys and girls, Mrs. Walsh here. How are you? I hope you're doing great. Today for writing workshop, we're going to continue on talking about poetry. Now poetry, the idea is that you don't use lots of words, but you use very special words. And you show, don't tell. You use your words to show a feeling. Now here is a little list of strategies that poets use. Number one, poets find a big topic that gives them big, strong feelings. They care about it. The next one, poets find a small object or a moment or a detail that holds that big feeling. Poets look with poets' eyes and see things that might be ordinary, but they see them in a very special way, and that's what they're trying to show in their writing. Poets write about it, experimenting with line breaks. We've talked about line breaks before, but we'll talk about them again. They give you a lot of freedom in your writing. Poets also use clear words that are precise and describe. Now, precise means it's right on target. It is exactly what you mean to say. An example of this would be, first if I said, the boy had food for the birds. But if I say the boy sprinkled food for the birds, it's much more clear what he was doing. Here's another one. We could say the ice cream went down her hand. It melted. What if we say the ice cream dribbled down her hand? You know the feeling of that, and this describes it much better. Use words that create a picture in your mind. So I've selected this one poem called Ladybug because that's something that you see all the time. Look how this author, Rebecca Kai-Dottledge, has put this together, and look at her use of line breaks. Well, but mostly it's her language. Smaller than a button, bigger than a spot. This crimson queen with midnight polished polka dots journeys in her ruby shell, across the walks, along the cracks, among the petals of a rose. Carefully, tenderly, she goes. Now, if you look up here, she uses words. First, she gives you an idea, smaller than a button. And then she calls her a crimson queen, which means a dark red, with midnight polished polka dots. What color would midnight be? Very dark. And it says she journeys in her ruby shell. And you know that's red also. So do you see how this author uses beautiful language to talk about a simple thing? That's the ladybug. Moving on here, we will talk about poetic voice. Now, not all poems are arranged in the same manner. Some of them speak to the object, and I'm going to read you a little poem for each one of these. So this kind of a poem speaks to the object, talks to something. This kind of poem is a storytelling voice. It will tell a story like you do in your writing. Lyrical voice is a very pretty way of talking about something. And conversation, this is talking with something or to something. So let me give you a little example of each one. And number one, speaking to the object, this one is called Pet Snake. And it's also by the same author, Rebecca Kai-Dottledge. Pet snake, no trace of fuzz, no bit of fur, no growling bark or gentle purr, no cozy cuddle, no sloppy kiss. All he really does is hiss, and there's a lot of S's, and that's the pet snake. So it's speaking to the object, pet snake. Now the storytelling voice, we all know what a story is. And this one is by Jack Prelutsky. It has a little bit of a humorous ending, but it does tell a little story. It's called The Egg. If you listen very carefully, you'll hear the chicken hatching. At first, there scarcely was a sound, but now a steady scratching. And now the egg begins to crack. The scratching begins to quicken as anxiously we all await the exit of the chicken. And now a head emerges from the darkness of the egg. And now a bit of fluff appears. And now a tiny leg. And now the chicken's out at last. He's shaking himself loose. But wait a minute, that's no chicken. Goodness, it's a goose. So that's Jack Pileski. He likes to do humor. But he is telling a little story there. Now, lyrical voice would be visitor. So we're going to look at this next one. And visitor is about a hummingbird. All right? But we just don't say, oh, it's a cute little bird. Listen to this. It's by Christine O'Connell George. A spark, a glint, a glimpse of pixie tidbit. Bright flits, brisk zips, a green-gray blur, wings, zings, and whir. I just heard a humming of a bird. And that is lyrical voice. Now the next one is conversation. And this one is a Native American, a Navajo. We call it a poem. They probably might have called it something different, but it's called Song of a Bear. There is danger where I move my feet. Now remember, it's like the bear is talking. It's conversational. There is danger where I move my feet. I am a whirlwind. There is danger where I move my feet. I am a gray bear. When I walk, where I step, lightning flies from me. Where I walk, one to be feared. Where I walk, long life. One to be feared I am. There is danger where I walk. That is a Navajo poem. Poets care about how words sound, and it brings the writing to life. Be sure to read your poetry out loud. Read it once, try it again. See if there's a place where you want to replace a word. Do your own editing, but make it sound fun to listen to. And in another lesson, we'll talk about the music of poetry. Bye, boys and girls. I hope you enjoy writing your poems. See you later. Bye-bye.